may have noticed following this election, Donald Trump came to Indiana and talked a lot about what happened with the Carrier Corporation and shipping their jobs out of state. Here's someone who worked for Carrier, and he has a question for you.
How you doing, Mr. President?
How are you?
My name is Eric Cottenham, and I'm representing the Steelworkers Union, Local 1999, and I'm trying to find out what do we have left as far as all of our jobs are leaving Indianapolis, right? And I see here you're doing a lot of things, but in Indianapolis, there's nothing there for us. I mean, what's next? I mean, what can we look forward to in the future as far as jobs, employment, whatever, because all of our jobs is left or in the process of leaving, sir.
Well, in fact, we've seen more manufacturing jobs created since I've been president than any time since the 1990s. That's a fact. And if you look at just the auto industry as an example, they've had record sales and they've hired back more people over the last 5 years than they had for a very long time. We actually make more stuff, have a bigger manufacturing base today than we've had in most of our history. The problems have been, part of the problems have had to do with jobs going overseas. And this is one of the reasons why I've been trying to negotiate trade deals to raise wages and environmental standards in other countries so that they're not undercutting us. But frankly, part of it's had to do with automation. You go into an auto factory today that used to have 10,000 people, and now they've got 1,000 people making the same number of cars or more. And so what that means is, even though we're making the same amount of stuff in our manufacturing sector, we're employing fewer people. Now, the good news is that there are entire new industries that are starting to pop up, and you're actually seeing some manufacturers coming back to the United States because they're starting to realize, you know what, energy prices are lower here, workers are better here, this is our biggest market. And so even though we offshored and went someplace else before, now it turns out we're better off going ahead and manufacturing here. But for those folks who've lost their job right now because a plant went down to Mexico, that isn't going to make you feel better. And so what we have to do is to make sure that folks are trained for the jobs that are coming in now, because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. And when somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for, that he's going to bring all these jobs back, well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is, he doesn't have an answer. So what I've tried to do, what my administration's tried to do is, let's grow those manufacturing sectors like clean energy, like some of these new technologies that are coming up. Let's focus on those. We've set up, for example, manufacturing hubs where we work with universities, local businesses, local governments to create research labs that can take something like 3D printing or nanotechnology or all kinds of stuff that I can't really explain because scientists and really smart people know all about it, and said, let's invest in this so that when the new jobs come, they're coming here. But I got to tell you that the days when you just being willing to work hard, and you can now walk into a plant and suddenly there's going to be a job for you for 30 years or 40 years, that's just not going to be there for our kids, because more and more that stuff's going to be automated. And if you go into a factory, that kid's going to need to know computers, or is going to need to know some science and some math, because they're not even going to be picking anything up. They're just going to be working on a keyboard. And that's why we put so much emphasis on job training, community colleges. That's why I've proposed making the first 2 years of community college free, so that we know that every young person, they're going to be able to, if they're not going for a full 4-year degree, at least they're going to be getting the technical training they need for those jobs of the future. But you cannot look backwards. And that doesn't make folks feel good sometimes, especially if it's a town that was reliant on a couple of big manufacturers. But they're going to have to retrain for the jobs of the future, not the jobs of the past.
Well, you